Did you know that more than 1/3 of workers would pass on the perfect job if the corporate culture wasn't a fit? So why is this problematic? Couple of reasons that I want to point out. So a majority of workers across North America say that their ideal corporate culture is supportive and team-oriented. And yet the same study finds that most corporate cultures are still practicing traditional culture, which looks like hierarchy, bureaucracy, and lack of true collaboration across the business. So the second reason is a McKinsey study conducted a couple of years back said the number one concern of CEOs across the world is building the workplace of the future, understanding that digital revolution and the corporate culture have not caught up to it. And yet, less than 40% of organizations are actually doing the work to change their corporate culture. So this is a big disconnect that the people you need to run the organization of the future are not interested in working for you. So what does it actually mean to hire for culture fit? I'm going to share 4 specific ways that you can, as an organization, improve upon that connectivity between the people that you hire and their sense of good fit with your culture. So number 1, hire for the tribe. This is not about a cookie cutter talent strategy. This is about understanding that like attracts like, that the number 1 reason that people stay with a company or in a job is because they like the people that they work with. This is across multiple studies as well as my own experience in 2 decades of doing this work. So while you are seeking to create more diversity within your workforce, which is a huge part of it, you want to create a sense of similarity in core values. That's what we mean by the tribal focus on hiring. Starbucks is a great example of this. So if you go to a Starbucks, you can see that there's a mass diversity of the age and range of skills of the people that are working at Starbucks, but they're super clear about making sure that within the store, the team gels. And if you don't gel with that team, you're probably not going to last. Number 2, know what you stand for. So if you can't articulate your corporate culture to someone in 3 words or a short sentence, why should anybody else want to marry themselves to you? Jeff Bezos famously said, "Our culture is fun and intense, and if push came to shove, I'd choose intense." That's clearly articulated. You know what you're in for when you work for Amazon. Can you do that for your own company? Do you have the 2 or 3 words that really articulate that culture? Does your CEO know how to say in 1 sentence, this is the type of culture that you're going to be working in here? Number 3, two-way street. So this is really important, and many of you are already doing this, but many of you are not. That you understand that when you're hiring, that the hiring manager, of course, has to have the final say, but that you're finding out through that process of selecting someone, you really do want that mesh with your team, and it's got to be a two-way street. So creating natural ways in which people can interact with each other that are going to be part of the same team outside the formal environment of interviewing, but creating moments where people get outside the normal building structure of the work environment for another is another key way of doing this, but getting people into a sense of camaraderie together. So very, very important if you think about any kind of social outing or event or sports team, a lot of what gels that team together has to do with what happens when you're off the field. So really important that you are ensuring that your hiring process is a two-way street. Be honest about it, be straight about it, and look for people that fit within the type of work style and the team culture that you've built. Number 4, bond. Give them a preview of the mission that they might choose to accept. So if you can create for people a preview of what it's going to be like to work with the team, what's the big why? What's the big reason that we're here together? What's the big thing that we're trying to create together that's a little bit interesting, a little bit exciting, a little bit juicy, something that you can kind of sink your teeth into? If you can convey that to the person that you're hiring, they're going to feel a lot more interested in your company culture. I'm also a big fan of going for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Paint the rosy picture and paint the side of it that's not so good, as I mentioned in point number 3. And you're going to find that people are attracted to that honesty and the kind of like attracts like point that I made earlier. So there are 4 gifts for you today in terms of how you can hire for good culture fit. If this type of topic interests you, please subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and you'll see culture tips like this each month. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great week.